Hi everyone, comic book reviewer here. This time reviewing on issue 2 of the Dynamite series, Darkwing Duck. Now, as you know, Darkwing Duck was a show back in the 90s, as well as being a spin-off from DuckTales. The premise of the show was meant to feature Drake Mallard as the superhero crime fighter Darkwing Duck, and the character has appeared in the DuckTales reboot, and has even appeared in the Chippendale Rescue Rangers movie, all voiced by Jim Cummins, while the Darkwing Duck in the DuckTales reboot was voiced by a totally different actor, but still had Jim Cummins voicing another character called Jim Starlin. And the cover mainly has Darkwing Duck being surrounded by rubber ducks, and the story starts off with Goslin, Launchpad, and Drake Mallard heading to the sort of new toy store, saying, "Finally, you take me to a high-quality store? Well, after Megavolt, I thought you could use some normal kid stuff." And of course, we kind of see how Goslin sees one of the sort of new toys, which is known as Quackalina, and kind of finds the character relatable in a similar situation. And we see how Drake Mallard learns to his dismay that there are Darkwing Duck toys, and him thinking, "I feel like I should be getting a cut of this." And of course, when he looks at one of the toys, it says, "Playtime." Playtime? That's not how my catchphrase goes. And of course, turns out who's behind this is Quackerjack. Now, I know in the DuckTales reboot, as well as in the original cartoon of Darkwing Duck, was mainly voiced by Jack Annell, who also voiced Drew in the Rugrats. And I think, if they did use him for the Darkwing Duck potential reboot, I could definitely see Mark Hamill, or basically, I don't know, someone who could do a good Joker-like voice. And we see him saying, "Goslin, this is both super scary and very cozy." And we kind of see how Darkwing Duck realizes that he can use a photo booth to quickly change into his costume, and of course manages to get the photos just in time, and tries to deal with a whole load of rubber ducks. And we kind of see him saying, "Time for this teddy to get stuffed with justice. Pardon me, I need to borrow your innards." And of course he uses the stuffing as a gun, and manages to kind of get Goslin safe. And we kind of see how Quackerjack tries to take him out with all his gadgets and gizmos. And we kind of see how Darkwing Duck tries to get Goslin away and tells her to kind of stay safe. And of course, we kind of see her still trying to say, "I can still do this," but we see him saying, "Go home." And of course, we know that Goslin's not going to sort of give in to Darkwing Duck's demands. And of course, we see how he gets overtaken by some toys and that, and even tries to point out about, all his plans and that. And we see how then Quackerjack gives his other toy, Mr. Banana Brain, one of the rubber duckies, and in doing so, unleashes a whole load of rubber duck toys. And just as Darkwing Duck is about to be swallowed in by the rubber ducks, we see Goslin showing up to try and help him, but of course kind of backfires horribly, and saying, "Goslin!" And of course manages to see if she's okay, and we see him calling out Goslin for being reckless, and even points out if he had a time machine, he would reground her multiple times for a century. And you can kind of tell that he kind of realizes that, Launchpad's no help either, and tries to get the both of them out of the toy store and tell them to go home quickly, and saying, "And now that Goslin is safe, let's get dangerous." So of course manages to open the sort of toy store doors, and of course we see Quackerjack sort of being sucked out, and of course manages to capture Quackerjack, and in doing so pretty much has him being arrested by the police, and Herb deciding to take all the rubber duck toys for his sort of blog and that, and him being the president of the St. Canard Bubble Bath Time Society, and saying, "Keep the rubber ducks, Herb. Keep anything you want. Just don't ever show me that photo again. I have one less daring and brave thing to do. And this is where we kind of see how Drake Mallard points out that he's going to retire and that, he's not going to be the hero anymore. And he even points out that he's going to be getting himself a real job. And I like how Gosling even asks the question, what has he been doing with his resources and that? And we see him pointing out that back in the 90s, he invested wisely in basically plush toys. And yeah, this was a thing back in the 90s, when people sort of invested on Beanie Babies. I mean, I've been mostly investing on first appearance comics, due to them being worth a lot more, and can kind of boost up my sort of future money. And of course, even point about another business that him and Launchpad did, doing door-to-door knobs salesmanship, and even point out they're going to be a normal suburban family, much to Launchpad's dismay. And we see him saying, "Now, I guess, onto a new adventure." Now, what, Dad? And of course, the third issue is obviously going to have Drake Mallard back being a hero again. And obviously, yeah, the story's not too bad. I think it's making it clear that Darkwing Duck wants to do the right thing, but doesn't really stop to kind of realise that, there are other criminals out there, and that, yeah, sometimes being a hero is, doing what is right. And I think sometimes being back on the horse again shows that you're at least doing things with good intentions. I think, well, not a good story, but it definitely deserves thumbs in the middle. Not too bad, not great, but again, it's going to have the trope with the hero giving up, but then getting back into the line of work once again. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.